Hi, Alan Stratton from Ways Woodturning. This project for this video is a convergence of different things coming all together at once. Kind of a fun piece in the end. For one thread converging is I was invited to join a four-way collaboration with Richard Raffan, Mike Peace, and Tomislav Tomasic to create a project on a similar theme. So the project for this collaboration is a box with feet. So within that criteria, most anything goes. So now we bring in another convergence, and that is, in their last club meeting, we discussed the Japanese technique for preserving wood using primarily cedar, which is the Yakisugi or Shou Sugi Ban. I don't speak Japanese, so I hope I got that right. But it's a technique that is yield residential primarily for preserving wood, but well, we can use it in other applications also. So the body of this is burned, which is because it is a burning technique, where a lot of the softwood is burned away, and then you brush off all the ash and then finish it from there. It yields a nice tactile expression or difference as the wood takes on different feel as you go through. So the third convergence, if you will, is the Artemis II mission that went to the moon. So this project now, it has turn feet with the exhaust nozzles for 3 engines here, so 3 so that it sits nicely always, and a box at the top for the astronauts to ride around the moon and back and get back to the Earth. I couldn't design parachutes, so this will have to do, but I'm sure the others will have maybe more traditional techniques that I enjoy, and I thought about trying something like that. But to me, with the convergence, this can be a whole lot of fun in this. So I invite you to check out their links, and that'll put below in this video, and enjoy the different approach to the same theme in this project. So let's shoot the moon.
I scrounged through my woodpile for an appropriate piece of wood, seeking for good pieces of ash. I started with one piece that got too small after roughing it round. Here's my second piece. I'm rough turning it round with my bowl gouge. Then start to shape the exterior for the rocket booster section. Before going too far, come back and cut a mounting tenon on the base, as I will need to hollow out the other end later. Then continue to shape the upper section. For hollowing, I chose to drill it out with a Forstner bit. Alternatives include a box scraper and hollowing it with a spindle gouge. With longer pieces such as this one, I prefer to drill or to use a box scraper. The downside to drilling is the divot in the bottom of the hole and some burning from my dull bit. I'm using a box scraper to go just a bit deeper and to clean up the sides, and to cut another lip at the joint to receive a tenon from the nose cone. I'm sanding with 80 grit sandpaper, but no finer. With the burning, I only want to establish a smooth curve. For the burning, I took the wood outside. My shop has way too much sawdust and shavings to even consider burning inside. I have a couple of cinder blocks out on the concrete with a Lazy Susan on top, and another flat concrete block on top of the Lazy Susan. I have also put a scrap wood plug on the top of the cylinder to prevent uneven burning at the joint. My torch is a standard unit with MAP gas, but propane would do. It is difficult to know how much to burn the wood. I have to hope that this is not too much. If not enough, I can burn more if needed. Back to the lathe to hold the wood still while I brush away the soot with a brass brush. I chose brass rather than steel, hoping it would not brush away too much of the harder wood. Other people have used steel wool, but I think a brush will get into the grooves deeper to get the soot out. To seal in the soot and provide a finish, I am spraying the wood with rattle can lacquer. I sprayed too much. Rather than having drips and sags, I'm rubbing it down with a paper towel. But maybe I should have done it this way intentionally. I need to clean up the bottom of the booster. Another piece of wood provides a jam chuck to fit to the joint, while the tailstock holds everything in place, while I shape with a spindle gouge. The mount is not adequate to hold without the live center. I will sand the nub and the bottom with a sanding disc before applying shellac. On the drill press, I measured and drilled holes to receive the exhaust nozzles. Now for the nozzles. The wood is maple. The task is to match the first nozzle that I just finished turning. I marked the length and started a parting cut, then wasted most of the excess wood. The critical turning is to cut the tenon at the right length and the right diameter, then finish the overall nozzle shape before sanding with 120 grit. That is enough for the beading cut next. That would cut away a lot of that surface wood. I'm using a D-way beading tool to have a consistent beads up the nozzle, then a little more fine sanding before applying shellac. I part it off and sand the end with a sanding disc. Only one more nozzle to go. For the nose cone, I found a piece of cottonwood burl so that the astronauts can ride in style. I have glued it to a faceplate to preserve as much length as I can. As I round it off, I am hoping it will be large enough to be compatible with the booster. With it somewhat shaped, I estimate where I can put a tenon for a reverse mount. I use deep chuck jaws so that the long length is not a problem, then part it off from the faceplate. It already wants to fly to the moon, but hold on, wait for the astronauts. With the wood reversed, I can clean up the bottom exterior. My worry is that I could make it too small and have to start over. Next, I cut a tenon to fit the booster. Many people like a suction fit, but I do not want the joint that tight. But I notice a deep void remaining in the wood. If I cut it out, the piece will be too small for this project. For occasions like this, I reach for UV resin rather than CA glue. I squirt a bead to start the fill. With the viscosity of the resin, I then expose this fresh resin to UV light. This stops the resin from running off. I repeat applications until the void is full. My UV lights are relatively weak. 20 minutes in the sunlight finishes the curing. The downside is that I cannot add a filler to the resin since light must penetrate to cure it. However, then I would have to worry about the match to the cottonwood. Clear works for this project. Back to the lathe to clean up the filled area and the tenon. I want to also hollow this nose cone a little bit for headroom for the astronauts. I'm using a round nose scraper for this, then sand and finish. Now reverse the mount again, but use the nose cone tenon for mounting while I shape the exterior with a spindle gouge. This removes the sacrificial tenon. After shaping, I can sand and apply shellac. Usually for a typical box, I like to put the pieces together for the final exterior shaving to yield a continuous curve across both pieces. However, this time I cannot because the booster section is already burned. Had I waited to burn it, the burning could have made the booster too small in diameter. Separate turning will have to do for this project. My Artemis rocket is complete. I think it is a fun convergence for the 4-way and our club challenge. Be sure to watch the other turners and their boxes with feet. Meanwhile, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my website in addition to subscribing YouTube. When you subscribe to my website, I email when there is a new video, which is more reliable than YouTube's wandering algorithmic recommendations. Please share my videos with your friends. I keep the videos short and to the point to respect your viewing time. I always appreciate your comments and questions, and please wear your full face shield whenever the lathe is running.